All right, Thor: Love and Thunder, the probably the most controversial movie to get announced for Phase Four out of the San Diego Comic Con announcement. One that people are already going nuts about talking about, both in a positive and a negative light here. And I want to discuss kind of my thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder, but also I'm not alone here. Continuing our discussions about MCU Phase Four, please welcome Hayden back, and we're going to talk about female Thor and Natalie Portman's return to the franchise. What's up, Hayden?
How's it going, guys? I am pumped for this one.
Real quick, bro, plug whatever social media you want so people can reach out to you. 'Cause we forgot to do that in the last couple of videos, so I figured you should do that
Uh,
now.
yeah. I am pretty much just on Twitter at SSJ5Tablos. Yes, like the guy from Dragon Ball AF. At SSJ5Tablos. Follow me on there. I do Dragon Ball art. I do comic book art. I talk about comics, Magic the Gathering, a lot of anime.
Nerd stuff. So this movie, all right, right off the hop, people are gonna say this movie's gonna be SJW propaganda. They've got Valkyrie and the actress Tessa Thompson saying that she wants to have like a lesbian storyline when she wants to find her queen. They've got the return of Natalie Portman to the franchise after pretty much saying she didn't care. Now she's back in to play Jane, to bring Jane back to play Thor. And it seems to be a very female-centric film, and I think people are already writing this movie off as being like SJW propaganda. And to be honest, it might end up being just that. This is Disney we're talking about here. They have a history of doing this type of stuff. But the one thing I think that's making this movie, to me, there's two things that are making this movie give me hope. Give me hope for this film. One is director Taika Waititi. He directed Ragnarok, one of the best MCU movies ever. If you put that as your number one MCU movie, I can't even hate on that. It's a great, hilarious movie. Number two, Chris Hemsworth will be in it. So this one might be the first Thor without Loki, unfortunately, but Chris Hemsworth has proven himself to be really funny, really entertaining, jack of all trades. One of the best actors going today, I would say, and he will be in this movie. But we don't know what his role will be, except that I believe we found out that this is actually going to take place before Guardians 3. So the Guardians of the Galaxy storyline may have to be put on hold here.
Yeah, I can see that being put on hold for sure. I also think that Loki could appear in this movie in a way, and I'll get to that later. But
There's a few ways, but
yeah.
Continue.
No, this movie is just wide open. There's so many possibilities where they could go. There's two big Thor runs. Obviously, the Jason Aaron Russell Dowderman female Thor, aka the Mighty Thor, that's what Taika wants her to be called, run is going to be center stage here. I think a lot of people are expecting
and
that.
I've never read that run, but I've heard good things about it. Believe it or not, I heard it was actually pretty good.
It's great. It's a continuation of his fantastic Thor run where he was writing Thor Odinson, and then he became unworthy. And then Jane Foster picks up the hammer, and that was a mystery reveal for a while, although everyone could see it a mile away. So that run I expect to be pulled from a lot, and that's a very, very exciting run. I think they're going to pull bits and pieces from it and not tell the whole thing in sequence because it's really, really long. It's been going for basically since 2013, uninterrupted. Right. But then there's another run which is the post-Ragnarok, post-Civil War J. Michael Straczynski and Olivier Coipel Thor run, which sets up the new Asgard in Broxton, Oklahoma, which I think is in Maine in the MCU, right?
Yeah, I think it's in Norway in the MCU. I could have sworn it was.
Oh, it is in Norway. Oh, yeah,
like
yeah. So it's new Asgard, and in order to reestablish all those characters that died in Ragnarok, similar to what we were discussing with the Eternals, they are reborn, or their souls are transplanted, reincarnated into humans on Earth that don't realize that they're gods. And Thor goes around waking them back up and bringing them back to life. It's part of the cycle of rebirth for Asgard. So
they're going to take ideas from both, I think, from what you're telling me.
I think so. It's interesting because Valkyrie's looking for her queen, so she's going to be on some sort of search. So that could lead her
to not that's something, just for the record, that's something that Tessa Thompson said that may not actually be the storyline of the film. Just want to clarify that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Still, I expect this to be a very female-centric movie, so I think that there's going to be I think that they might go in the direction of the Russell Dowderman, Jason Aaron Thor run, where there was another Asgard set up in space called Asgardia, and that was ruled over by Freya, the All-Mother, and female Thor is a representative of Midgard in the Council of Realms, and it becomes very much kind of a girl power story at that point. That is one of the few comics from the quote-unquote SJW Marvel period that never got that much heat for being like it had its own storytelling merits and kind of a natural turn of events that led to her becoming Thor. It didn't feel forced like Riri Williams or Amadeus Cho Hulk or those things that kind of came in all at once. This is one that came about in a very natural way. And also Thor Odinson was very active parallel to this story in his own book, The Unworthy Thor.
So there could be a possibility we're going to see multiple Thors then, because he's still got Stormbreaker in the MCU, and he will be around. So we could have Jane as Thor, and he could be Thor. Of course, he's the real Thor.
Yeah.
But then the question, of course, is the hammer. The hammer was destroyed in Ragnarok. So where do we go from here? I actually like the there was a leaked spoiler for Endgame that wound up being fake, but it was a cool idea where Thor goes to Hell. And he meets Hela there, and she's like the ruler of Hell or whatever the case is, and she gives him a new hammer. I like that idea, but I feel like that would work for main Thor as opposed to Jane Thor because that's his sister. There's more of an emotional tie-in. But I mean, I really liked Cate Blanchett playing Hela. She was hot as hell, first of all, and second,
she was amazing.
She was amazing, and I wish she would come back. If they're gonna do like a triple girl power movie, you might as well have the villain be her as well. But I don't know. She could end up being a neutral character as well. I mean, who's gonna be the villain here? I don't even know.
Female Loki.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Female in that J. Michael Straczynski run, Loki is reborn. He's reincarnated as a woman, and for several years in the Marvel universe. Was a woman during Dark Reign and all of that.
That's right.
We had female Loki.
So do you think that that's how they're gonna put Tom Hiddleston back in there? Like he'll be like doing like he'll be inside of her head, or like his soul you'll see like his soul going into a female body or something? Could that be what they do?
They could do that, or they could just introduce her and you don't even realize it's Loki until it gets revealed that this is the reincarnated Tom Hiddleston. This could be a way to give his contract a break if there's not any more movies on it and have a new Loki
Plus
for a while.
Plus he's doing a TV show, so we know that.
Plus he's doing the TV show.
So so we'll have 3 different Asgardian-based storylines going on. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, this one, and the Loki show. So I guess they're really... I'm fine with that, honestly.
I am too. I like the way that the Thor universe has developed in recent years. I'm more excited than ever to see a Thor movie, even though this one does give me some trepidations about it being SJW propaganda. I ultimately trust Taika Waititi. He has not made a bad movie yet. All of his movies are hilarious, so it'll be funny. And Chris Hemsworth has become a masterful comedic actor. He's so subtle and natural. Like the Thor Ragnarok is a funnier comedy than most comedies that try to come out and try to be funny.
Agreed.
During the year.
Not just that, but talk about comedy and charisma. Jeff Goldblum, please don't tell me we're done with Grandmaster, because Grandmaster, easily one of my favorite characters in the MCU because of Jeff Goldblum, and
I would love to see him in this one again.
We need to see him,
and I think we might. I think we might because although I was gonna say that this might be more for Guardians 3. Beta Ray Bill. Obviously, everyone's wondering when
we gotta
Beta Ray
see
Bill.
him in Phase 4 too. He's too popular.
I know, but if Guardians is pushed back to Phase 5, I think Guardians is the more natural place for him because he was teased in. Oh no, he was teased in Thor.
Ragnarok. Yeah.
Ragnarok.
But he in the comics he really has no connection to female Thor, as far as I know. It's mostly the mainline Thor.
I'm sorry, what was that?
If I remember correctly, I don't remember him interacting with female Thor in the comics at all. But I haven't read the entire run, so I wouldn't know.
Haven't read the entire run myself either. It's so darn long. I just haven't finished it yet. But I'm excited to because I hear War is really cool. But yeah, Beta Ray Bill and female Thor, not super big interactors. Although I think that his friendship with Thor is something that needs a lot of time to develop because his loyalty to Thor is dying. He loves Thor and pledges his life to protecting him. They're brothers. So that might need to be developed in a Thor movie. I don't know, but I would love to see him. his axe is Stormbreaker.
Yes,
that
that's
is Beta
his.
Ray Bill's axe.
That is his. Yeah.
It's probably not anymore in the MCU, but
Well, he might have his
maybe
own
Jane
version.
Foster. He might. I was thinking that Jane Foster could, through her worthiness, conjure the storm, that lives inside Mjolnir, or through some magical properties get Mjolnir back or reform it via her own, like, just magical, I don't know,
Her will.
manifestation of it. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
also,
because it seems like she should have Mjolnir. Her getting Stormbreaker.
Nah, it's gonna
that,
be Mjolnir. It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, and also I think a lot of folks are assuming that because of the title Love and Thunder and Tessa Thompson's comments that it's going to end up being a love story between Valkyrie and Jane, and that's also not really confirmed yet. I don't think we can really say it
Doesn't seem that likely.
It doesn't.
Her relationship with
storylines.
Thor is more well known and also has a lot of development at this point. One thing I want to know is, will she have cancer? Because she has cancer in the comics, and when she turns into Thor, she's obviously not sick because she's a divine being, but when she turns back into Jane, she still has the cancer.
It's one of those things where it kind of reminds me of the Tony Stark alcoholic storyline, where they chose not to adapt it because it shows kind of the dark realities of mankind, and we haven't really seen a storyline like that. However, to play devil's advocate, there's two pros to that. Number one, we have, of course, heat on the baby face. It gives you sympathy to hear that she might be dying, of cancer. And number two, even though, again, this is very controversial because cancer is very real and it's kind of a sad thing, X-Men has done so many storylines with viruses, the legacy virus, this and that, and I could totally see for one of the future phases they do a storyline where the mutants are in danger of dying due to a virus, which again is similar to like HIV and similar to cancer. So we might end up seeing a storyline like that later on, anyways. So do you want to save it for that? Do you want to do both? Or do you not want to do it at all? Because they don't really have to do that.
I was hoping they would do it with Marvel in Captain Marvel, because although she was rebooted as a woman,
they changed all that stuff.
Marvel famously died of cancer in the 80s, or was it the 90s? Can't remember, but that was a very powerful storyline, and they made sure that death stuck because it was very emotional. And they're not going to revive him at all, because that was such a kind of a heartache, kind of a gut-wrenching storyline. It was very sad, but it was very well done. So maybe she did touch the Reality Stone, the Ether, in Dark World, which could have had some dangerous effects on her. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. They don't need the cancer plotline, but it does add.
She might just be sick and not actually have cancer. They could, or they could just invent some Asgardian disease that's not even real.
Yeah, or some sort of gamma radiation from the Reality Stone. So that's basically cancer.
Who are you expecting to be the villain here?
There's several villains they could do. The Loki one is like a light possibility. I'm not super looking towards that. There's Dario Agger, who is a really cool character. The Jason Aaron run. He is the CEO of Roxxon, the evil oil company from the Marvel Universe that is often a foe of Iron Man and all those.
Sucks is Malekith would have been great for this, and they already used him.
Yeah, he would have been perfect here. And Malekith is used a lot in that. So
what about the Enchantress? Have they done her yet?
No, they haven't, but she would be cool. Her or Morgan Le Fay, any of the super powerful, but very similar in appearance to Hela.
I know, she's very similar, but I think it would work here because you have the whole girl power thing going. It would just make sense.
The villain. You know what? Obvious villain right here. Boom. This is who I'm leading with here is Gore the God Butcher.
Oh, that's right. We haven't seen Gore the God Butcher. But
no.
That's like a big story. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that is. And that ties into Thor becoming unworthy, because Gore the God Butcher's whole mission statement was the gods are self-serving hedonists that don't deserve to be revered. They don't deserve to be worshipped. All they do is let people down and cause more harm than good. Thor secretly starts to harbor this belief after fighting Gore, after seeing some of the debauchery and even engaging it and seeing kind of the harm done by the very flawed gods of Asgard and stuff. So what happens is Thor in the the Original Sin storyline, when Thor loses the hammer, it's because he's attacking Nick Fury, and Nick Fury whispers in his ear, "Gore was right." And this triggers within Thor. This allows Thor to confirm the belief that the gods aren't worthy, and thus he believes he's not worthy and can no longer wield Mjolnir.
Right.
So Gore factoring into that side of things. Maybe they have an early confrontation in the movie that leads Thor, that just completely leaves Thor in pieces, and he's disenfranchised. He's already fat. He's barely worthy in the first place. This is the final nail in the coffin.
And maybe
to
he
like,
gets his worthiness back in Guardians 3 when he meets Beta Ray Bill. There you go. Easy.
Possibly. That'd be really cool.
What about... here, I'm going to get wacky right now, bro. What about Zarko the Tomorrow Man?
I don't even know who that is.
It's basically... I knew I was going to get wacky, and I have, like, very vague memories of this, but if I remember correctly... He's a character from Thor that didn't last very long, but he's basically a crazy scientist that also has powers. He's like Kang the Conqueror, basically, but for Thor.
Well, Taika Waititi probably loves that character. He'd probably be looking to put him in.
That's what I was thinking.
Very wacky.
He's wacky, but he's not very well known at all.
Yeah. I mean, I could see him as like...
Don't forget, Korg will be in the movie, and he's awesome.
Yeah, Korg. I can't wait to see more from Korg. He's so cool. He's so funny. The other person I'm wondering is going to be in this movie is Hulk.
That's true.
He was in Ragnarok, and that Planet Hulk storyline does involve. I feel like he deserves kind of some development post Planet Hulk because he freaking left his son behind on that planet in the comics.
Yeah, in the comics, but he doesn't really have a kid in the MCU, so I feel like
no.
I think they're going to hold him off for a while. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see him at all in these movies. I think we might see him pop up later on, maybe in the Doctor Strange movie or something, but I don't see him being in these early like 2020.
The Doctor Strange movie would be cool. You know, he teams up and make that original Defenders from the comics.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, I just don't. Based on everything we've seen, I think based on what the Russo says, I think they pretty much said they're going to put Hulk away for a little bit. Even though I do wish that he was in this movie, but I want Jeff Goldblum back real bad. He was the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let us know in the comments what you think about Thor: Love and Thunder. Any final thoughts, Hayden, about this movie? I mean, again, it seems like SJW Propaganda. People are already kind of crucifying the movie early, but it could still be a good movie. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. It'll definitely be funny. I hope.
I believe in my heart that it will be a good movie. It's Taika Waititi. He's not gonna forget how cool and awesome Ragnarok was. This could go in a million different directions. I'm hoping that it is a balance of the JMS run because I love that one. I hope it is Gore the God Butcher as the villain because he's easily the most compelling villain of Thor's that we haven't seen yet. And I really hope that the SJW agenda, they've done a good job of not... Maybe Captain Marvel a little bit, but...
Captain Marvel a little bit. I think Black Widow's beloved by all fans. This one, it just... People really reacted negatively to it. Of course, you've got certain YouTubers that magnify every kind of female empowerment into SJW. You know, people who... I'm not going to name no names, but you can tell who they are. They're very... They're very, I don't want to say sexist because I hate that term, but they're insecure about their manhood. Either way, even if Jane becomes Thor, which she will, it won't take away from, hopefully it won't take away from the main Thor. Then again, who knows? Again, we don't know anything about this movie yet.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to kick ass. I really do.
I hope it does. Anyways, thank you, and we'll talk to y'all next time.